All right, let's dive into one of the most critical roles in tech for 2026, something you're going to hear a lot more about: the AI Product Analyst. Ever wonder how companies prove their massive investments in AI are actually working? Well, this is the person who makes it happen.
So, what exactly is an AI product analyst? You can think of them as the crucial bridge between the super technical world of data science and the big picture goals of product strategy.
Okay, let's break that down. At its heart, the AI Product Analyst, or APA for short, is the person who makes sure a company's bet on AI actually pays off. They're the ones on the ground proving the value of these complex AI models with cold hard data. I love this comparison because it just nails the difference. You've got the AI product manager, who's like the architect, dreaming up the vision and deciding what to build. And then you have the analyst, who's like the chief inspector, using data to make sure the thing is actually built right and running perfectly. One sets the course, the other keeps the engine tuned. So you're probably thinking, okay, this sounds pretty cool. How do I actually become one? Well, let's walk through a super actionable year-long plan that can take you from the basics to being totally job ready. What's great about this roadmap is how practical it is. You start with the absolute must-haves, Python and SQL, then you immediately start applying those skills. The whole thing builds towards this end-to-end project, which becomes the crown jewel of your portfolio. You're basically proving you can do the job before you even land it. All right, you've got the blueprint. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty, the specific tools and skills you're going to be using every single day. This is really the heart of the API's craft. Now, what's really interesting here is the unique blend of skills. On one hand, you need to be deeply technical. You got to know how to monitor for things like model drift. That's when an AI's performance gets worse over time because the real world changes. But on the other hand, you need to be a great communicator. You have to explain these complex findings to business leaders who might not know what model drift is, but you better believe they care when it starts impacting the bottom line. And here's the toolkit you'll use to make it all happen. Your bread and butter? Python and SQL for digging into the data. Then you'll use business intelligence tools like Tableau to create those amazing visualizations that make your findings easy to understand. And, of course, tools like Jira and Confluence are key for sharing your insights and working with the whole team to get things done. A huge part of your job, maybe one of the most visible parts, is building these live dashboards. They give everyone, from engineers to executives, a real-time, at-a-glance view of how an AI model is doing. You'll track key metrics like precision and recall, making the invisible work of an AI model totally visible to the entire company. But it's not all about the flashy live dashboards. You're also the storyteller. After you run a big A/B test or dig into a performance problem, you're the one who writes the memo that translates all that messy, complex data into a clear, simple business recommendation. Okay, so you've got the skills, you've got the tools, but what does this all look like when the rubber meets the road? Let's explore how AIPs actually use this stuff to drive real, tangible results for businesses. Let's start in the super high-stakes world of fintech. Picture this. A bank's AI fraud detection system is just too aggressive. It's flagging so many perfectly normal transactions that it's starting to seriously annoy good customers. Not great. And this is the classic puzzle an IPA gets to solve. The business comes to you and says, hey, how can we dial this back to make customers happy without, accidentally letting the actual fraudsters in? It's a delicate balancing act. So the APIA rolls up their sleeves and dives into the data. They notice customer spending patterns have shifted, so they work with the data science team to retrain the model. And the result of all that work? An incredible, a 22% drop in false alarms? I mean, that is a massive win. It's a perfect example of how an AIPA directly improves not just the company's bottom line, but the customer's happiness too, all by understanding the data behind the AI. Okay, now let's jump over to a totally different world. A company is rolling out a brand new generative AI chatbot. The dream is to automate customer service, save a ton of money, and make things faster for everyone. The big challenge here is making sure this new AI assistant is actually helpful. We've all been there, right? Stuck talking to a frustrating bot that just goes in circles. The goal is to avoid that at all costs. So the AIPA gets to work. They start analyzing thousands of chatbot conversations, tracking things like accuracy rates and how often a human has to jump in. And through all this careful analysis, they help the team hit this amazing metric. 35% of support tickets just handled by the AI. Think about what that does for a business. The AI Belpa, by constantly monitoring performance, helps turn this chatbot from just a cool piece of tech into a core business asset that saves time and money. And you see this pattern everywhere. It doesn't matter what industry you look at. Whether it's predicting when a truck will break down, catching fraud, or handling customer support, the APA's job is always to connect the dots between the AI's technical performance and a real, measurable business outcome. So we've seen the incredible impact an APIA can have. But here's the really exciting part. This role isn't just a job, it's a launch pad. The skills you build here are the perfect foundation for a huge career in AI leadership. Let's look at where this path can take you. Your journey starts right there in the trenches, with your hands on the data. As you grow, you take on bigger, more complex projects. And that deep expertise makes you a natural fit to eventually become an AI product manager. And from there, you can move into senior leadership, shaping the entire AI strategy for a company. And that's really the heart of it. You start by mastering the tactical details, the data, the models, the metrics. But you use that deep understanding to eventually guide the big strategic decisions about what the company should build next, and more importantly, why. Because look, at the end of the day, it's pretty simple. Every company on the planet is racing to use AI, but very, very few have the people who can actually prove that it's working and delivering value. The demand for that skill is just going to explode. So as AI changes everything, the real question isn't if it's going to work, but who is going to be the one to prove it. The question is, will it be you?